So let's see. Number 8. A resident has a precedence over the guest when they share the same level of Kaddish obligation, unless the guest is within the Shiva. Commentary. CF number 2, a Kitzur rules that during the first 7 days, there is no difference between residents and a guest. So if it's very important note, right? So if it's during the 7 days, so residents, meaning the guy comes to the shul for the last 30 years. So in the shul where I go, there are some people trying to sometimes they say who is the longest running member. Some people have been going there for one guy, I think he said 65 years. Elderly person, 65 years he's been going to this shul. He called them youngsters. So it's like 45 years, 43 years. It's unbelievable. You understand? So this guy who comes to the shul, so since a little boy, right? So now he's 60s, 70s, right? So he's going to show, and now it's a yahrzeit of his father, right? And now somebody from a different neighborhood, from out of town, came. Of course, we have to give the precedence to the local guy. Well, there is no question, right? They say if it's 7 days of Shiva, they have equal rights, guest and resident. When a yahrzeit observer who is a resident and a yahrzeit observer who is a guest, right? Both have both in a synagogue. The guest is not entitled to recite Kaddish at all. I mean, there is a clear, as we said, that this residents been coming there for many years. Of course, he has precedence. When a mourner is in the shloshim, right? Shloshim, meaning 30 days, who is a resident, and the mourner within the year, who is a resident. Okay, so now we're talking about 2 local guys. One is the shloshim, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When a mourner within the first, within the shloshim, who is a resident, so 30 days, or a mourner who is within the 1 year, who is a resident, right? Okay, so he local guy, is present in the synagogue, along with a guest who has a yahrzeit observer. A guest is entitled to recite 1 Kaddish. Okay? And commentaries say the guest recited recites first Kaddish, Mishnah Berurah. So one more time, who we're comparing to? Mourners within the 30 days. So we said he has other days, and the person is within the year. So basically, they even though they're going to give 1 Kaddish to this guy, they have other Kaddish. If a yahrzeit observer who is a resident, and the mourner within the shloshim, so now yahrzeit who is a resident, meaning yahrzeit once a year, a mourner within the shloshim who is a resident. So yahrzeit and the mourner within the 30 days, both present, as well as yahrzeit observer who is a guest. The guest is still entitled to recite 1 Kaddish. Commentary, and we're going to explain. Although if the mourner is within the shloshim are not present, the resident yahrzeit, the resident yahrzeit observance would not be required to yield to the guest at all. When a mourner within the shloshim is present, a guest yahrzeit observer does not get opportunity to recite Kaddish. I said we're going to explain, we're going to read again. I'm not sure what it says here. One more time the situation. If yahrzeit observer, who is a resident, so 1 guy once a year, okay, and the mourner of the shloshim, who is a resident. So now we say there are two guys, okay. So as we said before, this resident, this yahrzeit has a president. because it's only once a year, are both present. So Yortzeit and Torah Day is present. As well as Yortzeit Abzorah, who is a guest. Right? Guest, as we said, only also once a year. A guest is entitled to recite one Kaddish. Logically, it's understandable because there are more Kaddishim. It's enough for all of them to say one, at least, right? So commentators say, although the Mourner within the Shloshim are not present, if the Mourner within the Shloshim were not present, so it's only the Yortzeit guy, right? He's not present. The resident Yortzeit Abzorah would not be required to yield the guest at all. I'm not sure. I mean, so he is maybe because once he started yielding to one, he has to yield to another one. But once there is no requirement to yield, so he does not have to yield at all. When the Mourner within the Shloshim is present, a guest Yortzeit Abzorah gets opportunity to recite Kaddish. That's my understanding. But in this case, if it's Yortzeit of the local guy and Yortzeit of the guest is out. The Yortzeit Abzorah who is a resident, Yortzeit Abzorah who is a resident, may not say to him, "I have precedence," for he can respond, "I'm not taking the Kaddish from you. Rather, I'm taking from the mourners within the Shloshim." That's the explanation. Of course, it's better than I said. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So, very interesting. So the Shloshim guy, as we said, he has other opportunities to say. Yortzeit guy does not have opportunities. He has only one day. Shloshim does. So for guests, he can give up one Kaddish, basically. I mean, he would say one Kaddish more. So when this resident, Yortzeit, comes to this guest, Yortzeit, and said, I'm not going to give you any Kaddishim. And this guest, Yortzeit, said, I'm not taking from you, I'm taking from the Shloshim guy. Very interesting. So commentators say, the resident might argue that guest is not entitled to recite any Kaddish when there is a resident Yortzeit Abzorah is present. The guest will respond, however, that although he is not entitled to display the Yortzeit Abzorah, so Yortzeit and Yortzeit, one is guest, one is resident. So he said, of course, I cannot take yours, since the Yortzeit Abzorah has already been forced to yield to the mourners within the Shloshim. Okay, he's displaced by the Torah Day mourner rather than Yortzeit Abzorah. Okay, 23. So we finish it up. In this case, a Yortzeit Abzorah, who is a resident, recite the first Kaddish. So the first Kaddish looks like it's privileged, right? And right, so it's usually what is it? Derabanan. The Yortzeit Abzorah, who is a guest, they said the second Kaddish, and the mourner is in the Shloshim, recite the third Kaddish. So let's stop here.